Our Honorable Vice Chancellor has also joined. Ma'am, namaskar. आपका बहुत
नमस्कार मैडम, नमस्कार.
We welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam Professor Sudesh Shikara ji. We are really thankful to you, ma'am, for sparing your very valuable time. We know that you have a lot of committees. You are also celebrating the Women Empowerment Day today, and also the World Tourism Day. You are so much occupied with a lot of activities, but as you promised us during the valedictory that you will always be with us, you kept your promise and you have joined us despite of that very busy schedule. So we thank you for that. And we welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam Professor Sudesh Shikara ji, in this inaugural program of this 1 week workshop, which we are doing in the context of NEP 2020 on the one of the sub themes of the use of technology and integration of technology in the education and research for the teachers. We also welcome Dr. Mahesh Sharma ji, who is a part of this HRDC from quite long and has been looking after as an assistant director for this institution, and also all the participants of this workshop, those who have joined us here. I extend the heartiest welcome to all of you on this in this inaugural program. We have two very esteemed dignitaries with us today, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who will preside over this program, and our Chief Guest, Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Anisur Rahman ji, the Director of Jamia Millia Islamia Human Resource Development Center. But before we proceed with this program, the orientation of I would like to share with the orientation of this program, why we have organized and we have kept this. Since the advent of the mark of this national education policy, the HRDC has been contributing to create the awareness regarding the implementation, regarding the policy as well. Implementation came later, but we also had discussed on the draft of the NEP, and we have also organized the workshop on the draft of the NEP, which was circulated much before this policy was introduced and announced by the Government of India. But in the last semester of the quarter of the year, in the 2020, when this NEP was launched after a long wait of almost 40 years, there was a long desirable change which was required in the field of education, which has been announced through this national education policy. A lot of changes. I always say it is not reform, it is a revolution in the field of education. We wanted to make a complete turmoil of what has been there in the education, and now we are moving towards a complete change in the educational setup and the educational system of our country. Though this change is this changes will take place not only at the ground level, at the school level or the primary level, but at the higher education level, and as well as when we are talking about the globalization at every place, and the world has shrunk to a global village. This education policy is also looking forward towards the use of the modern technologies into it, the digitalization of education, digitalization of the educational resources, the education overall. There will be a lot of changes in the pedagogies, in the curriculum development, in the education examination processes, in all the administrative procedures. Everything will face a lot of changes. Not only that we as a stakeholders, as a teacher or the educational institutions will be looking forward and will be having a framework refinement of everything, but also all the stakeholders will be affected by it. Whether it is the parents, whether it is a society, whether it is teachers, whether it is students, whether anybody, those who are affected with the education. So it will help the nation to grow and build in that aspect. So we will be looking forward in this reforms towards the internationalization of the education. And when our country has to compete with the international resources, with national global standards of education, we have to have a mark, we have to achieve a benchmark in the education system overall. And in this workshop, we will be attempting towards receiving the same, in which we will be contributing as a part of the HRDC, as our moral as well as our duty of the HRDC to create the awareness, to how to implement this policy, how the digitalization and the technology is going to change the educational system overall in the higher education system. Particularly, we will be talking about in this workshop. This is in continuation to the series of the NEP programs that we have organized in our HRDC in last 2-3 years. I think we have organized more than 15 to 20 workshops on NEP so far since 2020, in which we have conducted one-day programs to the 1 week workshops. I think this is the 5th workshop on NEP, which is for 1 week program, in which we have taken the sub-themes of the NEP and we have organized such kind of programs on one aspect and on the other aspect. So today, this is again a specialized workshop in which we will be delivering the sessions, and we will be inviting the resource person from almost all the domains. And there will be the information regarding what are the online digital resources that are available for the teachers that can be used to convert or to integrate the modern techniques with the traditional methods, and we will also be helping them to understand how they can create their videos, how the e-content can be delivered, how the online programs can be prepared by the teachers, how they can, what are the resources available to them. Also, what is the policy of IPR in our country, especially the copyrights, how we have to deal with it, because in the digital technology, this is one of the most important aspects that need to be understood by each and everyone, not only the teachers but also the students as well. Soon we will be finding that there will be a lot of software developments. We would also be using how the Google or the various search engines can be used by the teachers in a more effective way, and introducing and how they can make use of these platforms into their teaching as well as research, how to create their own YouTube videos, how to write the e-contents, how to work on the online examination or the assessment things. So all these things will be there, and the various resource person have been invited to deliver the talks on that, and also how to develop your own website where you can introduce yourself in a more dynamic and a more expanded form as a teacher in the diverse areas. So these will be the areas in which we will be focusing upon. So again, I welcome each and every one of you in this workshop, and today is the World Tourism Day. So I greet each and every one of you, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, our Honorable Chief Guest, our respected colleague Dr. Mahesh Sharma ji, and every respectable participant, those who have joined. A very happy World Tourism Day as well. On this, as we will be talking about the Sustainable Development Goals 4, in which this education is one part, environment is also one part, in which I think on this World Tourism Day, we can pledge to safeguard this earth. We all are tourists on this earth. We have a limited journey to explore, to use, to enjoy the resources which the planet Earth has given to us. So I think on this World Tourism Day, we should also take a pledge that we should be safeguarding these resources to make our Earth more sustainable, more environment, to protect its environment, and to live a clean and pollution-free life also. So I once again welcome you and thank our respected guest for joining us in this program. Now, before I invite our respected guest, Professor Anisur Rahman, let me introduce him with all of you. He is currently the professor and director of the Human Resource Development Center at Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. He holds the 2 master degrees. One is in the economics from the Aligarh Muslim University, as well as in sociology, in which he did his MPhil and the PhD as well from Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. Before he joined JMI in 1999, he has also worked at the Institute of Applied Manpower Research Planning Commission, Government of India. His interest areas include the South Asian migration and diaspora, Gulf social demography, issues of the higher education and minorities. He has published 5 books and more than 50 research papers in the reputed journals in India as well as abroad, which includes his contribution as chapters, edited books by the well-known scholars. Dr. Rahman has presented over 70 research papers in the several conferences and seminars, workshops in India, as well as in many other countries outside India. He has visited many countries like USA, UK, France, Germany, Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, Hong Kong, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, and has also visited the Paris, France, under the Indo-French Social Scientist Exchange Program, thrice, for his research in the year 2010, 2013, and 2015. He has been delivering and has delivered 100 invited talks at the different institutions of higher learning in India and abroad. He is a member of the various academic bodies and the editorial boards. He has received fellowship under the Social Scientist Exchange Program and 1 month ICSSR FMSH fellowship under the Cultural Exchange Program in Paris. And he is a visiting professor in the fellowship under the DEA program at Paris again. And he was a coordinator of a very renowned program that was introduced by the government of India that was popularly known as LEAP program, where he visited the University of Virginia in USA 2019. So with this, I would request him to deliver his inaugural address to all the participants. Sir, we extend our heartiest welcome to all to you on the behalf of everyone here. Over to you, sir. Unmute कर लीजिए, sir.
I'm sorry that just power went off, so just I have got connected with my mobile. I don't know how long it will sustain. So sometimes it happens. So we are going to talk about integration of technology. So how we have to work in this direction, we need to go to miles. So anyway, thank you so much indeed for having given this wonderful chance to become the part of this great event being organized by your great institution of higher learning. So thank you so much indeed. So Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sudesh Chikara ji, Madam, and Professor Shefali ji, Dr. Mahesh Sharma ji, and all the delegates who have joined this wonderful program, to which it is going to be organized on national education policy and how we can integrate basically the technology for the benefit of this country as a whole. We know that there's no escape of technology now, and we need to depend on the technology. See the beauty and the magic of the technology, that had it not been there, we would have not used this technology, and we would have not done all these kind of programs during this pandemic and even thereafter. So now we have realized the importance and significance of technology. So there's no, I think there's a need. Now it has become the inevitable part, especially in the pedagogy or the academics, that we are going to depend. Unless until we depend, nothing is going to make a move. And it is rightly pointed out that now the whole world is reduced to global village. So we have got connected. If anything happens in any part of the world, we get to know with a fraction of a second. So it's a wonderful chance for all of us to use this technology for the benefit of the nation, for the benefit of the humanity. You gave me just for a minute, because now the light has come, so that I should come inside and I will talk to you. You give me a just second.
No problem, sir. Because that would be easier for you to be on the desktop. We just need to build up the infrastructure, and this is one of the part of the NEP programs, that we need to develop these kind of infrastructure things. And I hope that soon India will also be in the line with the developed countries, that we would be having much advanced systems in place. अभी तो जो इंडस्ट्रीज हैं, जो खास तौर पे सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्रीज है, उन्होंने तो 3 साल से पुराना जो भी सिस्टम होगा उसको अपडेट करना ही बंद कर दिया है, कि वो अपग्रेड ही नहीं हो पाएगा. जैसे पहले अपडेशन होता था, तो every 3 years we will have to replace it in case the technology is evolving at that faster pace. वो लोग अपनी ही प्रोग्रेस को मैचअप नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। महेश
मैम
सर,
इसमें एक बहुत ओल्ड स्टेटमेंट है कि टेक्नोलॉजी कभी भी नॉलेज को रिप्लेस नहीं कर पाएगी, और हम टेक्नोलॉजी के चक्कर में नॉलेज को भूल जाएं, ये सबसे बड़ा ड्रॉबैक है। लोग कंप्यूटर तो सीख रहे हैं, लेकिन कंप्यूटर की एप्लीकेशंस पे ध्यान ज़्यादा है और अपनी नॉलेज पे ध्यान नहीं है लोगों का। ये ड्रॉबैक हमको फेस करना पड़ रहा है।
जी, ये बात
कराए
ठीक
गए
है।
हैं मैडम।
Sir has joined. Sir, welcome back. Unmute करिए सर, unmute करिए। Yeah,
So see the case of dependence of technology. So we need to do a lot in this direction. There's no doubt about that. So nevertheless, ours is a country which is very huge. So huge infrastructure is required, and we all are working. And one thing I would like to share with the faculty and our colleagues, that we the teachers have been well acknowledged by the policymakers, our society, what we are all are supposed to do. Why government of India is emphasizing that we need to do, and we are going to depend on the faculty. Faculty means the teachers, because the role of the teachers are very, very important. It has been very prominent, so it has been well acknowledged by policymakers and everybody, that unless until we are going to play a very prominent role, the very good kind of policy which has been outcome of the effort of the 5 years, because the committee constituted way back in 2016, and lot of feedback, lot of responses have come. Thereafter, this policy has been created or made. So I know that after a gap of 30 or 35 years, this policy is born. And you rightly pointed out that this policy is a very revolutionary policy, and it's a very, very progressive policy. Despite its own limitation, there's no doubt about that. But if it is going to be implemented in letter and spirit, I know that country is going to feel proud of that, and country is going to be progress and going to be developed in a very big way. And one thing which is also very important, that this policy and this document is going to stay again for 30 or 35 years, by 2040, or by at most by 2050. And lot is changing, a lot change is taking place. So one thing I would like to share with my colleagues and friends, that let us play a very prominent, very positive role, so that this policy could be implemented, and we can feel proud of our own nation by contributing its own might in this direction. So I am going to flag some of the important points relating to technology, how technology is going to be integrated, and when it will be integrated means when we are going to use in our day-to-day life, in the sense that in the classroom situation, because the role of the teachers have been identified, that we are going to create the product in the students, or we are going to shape the destiny of our own nation. As it is rightly pointed out, that the destiny of any society or destiny of any country is shaped in the classroom. See the case, see the situation, how the role and the responsibility of this have been acknowledged, have been recognized, that the entire nation is in the hands of the teachers. So let us play our prominent role. So some of the important points I would like to highlight relating to national education policy. It is clearly said that we need to make the gross enrollment ratio of our own nation to 50%, which is now hovering around 25%. So see the case of this objective, that for the last 75 years, of course, we have been trying and striving, and we have achieved the target of 25%, just minus plus. But within these 15 years, the target has been given to achieve, to make it just double, this 50%. Now the question arises, how? Unless until we are going to use this technology, these very lofty ideas, this objective is not going to achieve. So we need to play a very prominent role, very active role, very proactive roles in this direction. Then this dream could be realized. And one thing which is also equally important, that the issues before the society is very, very challenging, in the sense that the whole every day, lot of complication, lot of issues are cropping before the society. So the issues to which our society or any society is plaguing, is very important in the sense that what we call a very complex and very complicated kind of things. So unless until we need to make our educational institutions what we call it interdisciplinary. So again, the other objective which is set in our national education policy is to make each and every institution multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary. Now again, it's a very, very challenging task. Means the issues or the challenges to which we all are going to face is multifarious. Cafeteria kind of approach is required. So whatever the traditional subject, right, political science, sociology, and economics are not going to resolve the issue unless until we come together and make our approach integrated or interdisciplinary. Then we will be able to issue these challenges. So here again, it's the responsibility of the teacher like us to play our very active role as how we can make our pedagogy, our discipline in a very interdisciplinary. So here in the HRDC, we know pretty well that we are playing for the last many years. So see the case of education policy, and we also organize the program, especially refresher course like human rights, sometimes in gender issue. So these all issues are interdisciplinary. We will not be able to address this issue taking one subject like political science, sociology. We have to make our approach, understanding in a very composite way, in a very complex way. So I think if you go through this national education policy, it's a very progressive. Why we have said that it is progressive? Because all the challenges, whatever the issues are right now, the remedy remains in this national education policy. Already I told you it took 5 years. So all the experts and the committee members have put a lot of effort, and they also got the feedback not only from the teachers, but every stakeholder of the society, especially the higher education. They all have been consulted and they have given a lot of input. On the basis of that input, this policy has been created. And see how government or the society or the policy makers are serious that how we can create the awareness among the faculty, among the teachers, because the teachers have been recognized as a very active agent. Unless until they go to play a very prominent role, nothing is going to happen. So this time, especially this time, I think lot of emphasis has been given, and this, especially the HRDC, has been recognized as one of the very important platforms or the centers through which we will be able to spread the message, because this HRDC has been created for the benefit of the faculty, and they all come over here. Hello. Just I received. Thank you so much. So what basically we are going to talk about that all the important points, and see the case when it was the national education policy was in the form of the draft. It runs into 400 pages. Now it has been made concise to only 60 or 64 pages. Why I am saying it is very precise, very concise. It's a roadmap basically. We need to debate, we need to ponder over, we need to deliberate upon how it could be made implementable. So unless until we the practitioners of education, more specifically the higher education, definitely we need to work, and we must take our responsibility so that we will be able to create this national education policy implementable. And let us strive in this direction. So one thing I would like to tell you that already we know that a lot of objectives have been set in this. One is, and what are the concerns of higher education? You know that 3 or 4 concerns are very important. I think one is called access to education. If you see the punchline and tagline of the University Grants Commission, it is written that education for all means it is unlike the British India at that time. education was only for a few elite sections of the Indian society who would be able to serve the purpose of what we call at elite section, who can work as a babu or the something like that to in order to achieve the target of the British India. But now we need to give the education across the across the society, means across the community. How we can create the society which would be based on the equity, access, excellence, and what we call at affordability. All these concerns are very important. And if you go through this national education policy, all these, the remedy of all these concerns are very much there. So there is a need to understand, there's a need to study this document very deeply, very thoroughly. Then we will be able to understand, and when we will be able to understand, definitely we will be in a position to implement it. At least we will be able to facilitate this national education policy. And one thing again, it is very important that it is going to stay, and it is going to stay in the sense for many years, and it is going to decide the fate of this nation. So it's very important that we, the teachers, must play our very due role in this direction, so that this policy could be implemented and our society could be benefited. One thing which is again very important, that education, especially the higher education, is concerned about the development. Means the development of any nation and the higher education is directly related to each other. If you see the status of the country, if the status of higher education would be better, definitely that country would be better off. So how we can assure the quality or enhance the quality in our own society, in our own educational system, so that our country can be also made better off or could be developed further. Because the challenges are very, very enormous, in the sense that the whole world is globalized. So there's an interdependence over here. So how our educational institutions, which is now number more than 1,000 universities are there in our own country, and 50,000 colleges are there. If you see, at the time of independence, it was hardly 20 or 28 universities were there and 500 colleges. So if you calculate arithmetically, it's a phenomenal increase. But so far as the case of the catering and the requirement of the society is concerned, again we stand nowhere. And here, one thing I would like to tell you, that whatever the institutions are available, we will not be able to achieve the target of what we call 50%, unless until we are going to use the technology in a very big way, in a very smart way. If we are not going to able this technology, we will not be able to achieve the target of 50%. Not only in terms of the access, but also in terms of, see the situation. Due to this pandemic, we all have come under the mode of online. So we cannot negate the impact, we cannot negate the positive contribution of this technology. Had it not been there, we would not have been able to transit our knowledge to the students through online. So this is very important, and we all should and see the case. Even making technology or online kind of things, it is not a new thing. Even it all started in 2007 or even before that. But pandemic has basically given this kind of opportunity. So even in the adversity, we have explored the possibility of opportunity over here. And it has basically increased the speed of learning this online technology. Now we all are talking, and policymakers are talking, that we need to go by the hybrid or the offline. Why online and offline together? Because we need to achieve the target of, we need to increase the access of education to the maximum population. If we are not going to use this technology, definitely we are not going to achieve that target. And even in terms of the quality, I think it's very important. See the case right now, or in this pandemic period, we say that every institution was organizing a lot of seminars, symposium, and the workshop through online. The people who are sitting, or the experts who are sitting on any globe or any part of the world, could have got connected and we could have got the benefit. So this kind of benefit, because we learn, we hear that people are also critical, very critical of that online, but see the benefit and the positive aspect of the part. If you are going to call somebody, some experts who are sitting in the Europe or somewhere else, it needs a lot of money. So we are not able to pay, and lot of other time and many things are there. But through online, we can reach them out, or we can get the benefit of that. So whatever the objectives set in this national education policy, I am sure that through the online, we are going to get the benefit out of that. So what I will urge, and I'm sure during this program, all the dimensions, all the aspects are going to be discussed, are all are going to be debated in this program. And you know, the mandate of the program which is conducted at the HRDC, you know, is participatory in the nature. So you all are the expert of your own subject. You all are going to pose the question. You are going to contribute in terms of the comments and the observations. So in a way, we should learn from each other. The experts or the resource persons who are going to discuss with you. Time has been given enormous and much more, 90 minutes. So at least 50 or 40 minutes should be given to you so that you could raise your own questions, because you all are handling the education, or you all are the practitioners. Basically, you are practicing, you have some sort of issues, practical issues. So you need to discuss with the expert, we need to discuss with the resource persons. So in a way, we can become more wise, and we will be able to use this platform for the benefit of the society, because our role, the teacher's role, has been considered as the multiplier. So we are going to have the multiple kind of impact, positive impact on the students. And one thing again is very important, that if you see this I think national education policy, how we are all are going to make our class student centric, not teacher centric, because there is a paradigm shift in the pedagogy or the science of teaching. We need to learn so that maximum benefit could be imparted, maximum benefit could be given to the students. So in a way, the whole world is very competitive. So now we need to be competitive, and definitely we need to catch up with the fast changing scenario of the world. And where do we stand now? Where do we stand? We need to see, and we need to catch up of the all highly industrialized country, and we are in the process. And this national education policy ensures all these things, because lot of input has been taken within our own society, and whatever the best practices are available anywhere on the globe, all these issues have been incorporated, especially in this national education policy. Again, I will urge you that you go through this national education policy documents again and again. When you start reading, every time or whenever you study, you will get something new, and you can impart the same to the students also, or to the budding scholar to which you all are going to address. So whatever the policy makers has done, so now it is the turn of the teachers like all of us to work in this direction. So I think I'm sure that this seminar or this workshop is going to provide this wonderful chance and the opportunity to all of you to learn a great deal. So far as the case of the national education policy, when you learn it, I'm sure that you all are going to impart the same in the society that is expected of all of you. So I should not speak much more, because this is the inaugural program. So I'm sure that the 5 days or 6 days are going to be very, very fruitful to all of you to learn, and not only to learn, but also to acquire the knowledge, which is very, very practical, and you are going to implement for the benefit of the society. So lot is expected on your part. So let us try to play our role. Let us try to contribute whatever we can do in the domain of society. So in a way, we are going to play our role. So thank you so much indeed for having given this chance to share my rambling thoughts and the experiences. So technology, we should not be afraid of the technology, because the technology, there's always intervention of human being. Means sometimes we discuss that when radio was invented, at that time we started thinking that there would be no need of the human being. But I think there will always be, technology is not going to replace us. What we all are expecting and what we all are going to use technology as a tool for the benefit of the mankind, for the benefit of the society, to provide the welfare of the society. So same thing is going to happen. So how we will be able to play our role so far as the case of enhancement of the access of education to the largest sections of the society. We know that our society is divided on the basis of many considerations, unfortunately. So as a teacher, let us play our role to reduce the gap or differentiation. So ours is a society which is divided on the basis of gender. See the case. So women constitute 50% of the total population of our own nation. But where-wise, they are grossly underrepresented, especially at the higher position. So this is if we are going to deny 50% of the population of our own country, means we will not be able to use the optimum utilization of the resources. Not only this, ours is a society which is again differentiated and divided on the basis of rural, urban. See, ours is a country which is basically lives in the rural areas, but all the educational institutions are located in urban areas. So how we are going to play this kind of to reduce the gap? Again, many challenges are there. So why I am saying research has been given a lot of importance. So let us now investigate, let us study how these challenges, how these issues could be sought or could be resolved with the help of the policymakers. So unless until we give the input to the policymakers, all these issues are not going to be incorporated in the policy. So for making the apt kind of policy or relevant policy, we as a teacher, we as a researcher, let us play our role. So research is also very important component. So unless until we create the knowledge, what can we impart the knowledge to the students? I think all these issues are I am sure that all the important dimension issues are going to be debated and discussed over here. So kindly participate in the debate and discussion so that we could learn from each other and do the best for the sake of our own society. So thank you so much, madam, for having given this wonderful chance to share my thoughts and experiences. So now I am stopping here. Thank you.
So thanks a lot. We have received a lot of inputs, a lot of things from you, especially in terms of the NEP policy, as well as how we are going to use this and integrate the technology and what has been included at all in the NEP 2020 regarding the same. और हमेशा ही जैसा मैंने आपसे पहले भी कहा कि you have been an inspiration for our HRDC because your center is wonderfully working in terms of all the aspects, in terms of organizing the program, the quality programs, and we look forward towards your center for our inspiration to organize on that pattern. So indeed, it's a pleasure for all of us to have you here as our guest today for this keynote address and for this inaugural speech. And I hope that the participants from this would have acquired a lot of insights and must have developed certain kind of a thoughts towards what they are supposed to do and what they are required to do. And as you have said कि ये जो पॉलिसी है हमें अगले 30-35 साल तक रहने वाली है, क्योंकि अगले 10 साल तो इसके इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का टाइम है, जो मेरे को ऐसा लगता है एक्सपेक्टेड रहेगा थोड़ा और समय लगेगा इसकी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में, क्योंकि 2 साल अभी तक बिना कुछ करे जा चुके हैं. और अगले 8 साल जो हमारे पास है उसके अंदर फेजेस के अंदर ये जो लागू करने की बात हो रही है, just like the NAC, I think all those institutions who will fail to implement this NEP would stop receiving the grants from the government, and they will be looking forward to close down such kind of institution as they are closing the schools. As an example has been there in Haryana, that they have closed more than 805 schools in Haryana where the number of students were less in a particular course, or there was no principal or there were no teachers to teach such kind of programs. So instead, and I think वैसे भी अगर हम कहें एजुकेशन हमारे यहाँ पर कभी प्रोफेशनल एजेंडा तो नहीं रहा और ना ही प्रॉफिट मेकिंग इंडस्ट्री रही है ये, पर स्टिल जहाँ पर कोई ना पढ़ने वाला हो ना पढ़ाने वाला हो, वहाँ के रिसोर्सेज को विड्रॉ करके कहीं और रिसोर्सेज लगाना और स्ट्रेंथन करना, ये एक स्ट्रैटेजिक प्लानिंग बहुत अच्छी हो सकती है अगर गवर्नमेंट इसको राइट स्पिरिट में लेती है और करती है। तो मुझे लगता है जहाँ पर भी बच्चे इस तरह के कोर्सेज में एडमिशन ले रहे हैं, वहाँ पे 2-4 टीचर्स जो बचे हैं वहाँ डालने में वो बहुत फर्क पड़ेगा। एटलीस्ट वो बच्चे तो सीख पाएंगे जिनको सीखना है। तो इस तरह के कहीं पॉलिसी रिफॉर्म्स जो हैं वो हमारे इसके अंदर NEP में आने वाले हैं, और ये हम सब लोगों को समझने की ज़रूरत है कि NEP के अंदर कुछ ना करके बैठना अब ये हम सब लोगों के लिए ही नागवारा हो जाएगा। और हम सब लोगों को सस्टेनेबिलिटी की भी अगर बात करें तो वी विल हैव टू लर्न द न्यू थिंग्स। हमें अपनी पुरानी चीज़ें छोड़नी है, नई चीज़ें सीखनी है और नई चीज़ों के साथ आगे बढ़ना है, और यही हमारा आगे दौर आगे इसी तरह से चलने वाला भी है। आपने हमें बहुत कुछ इस तरह की चीज़ों के बारे में अवगत कराया है, बहुत सारी बातें इसमें हमें आपने बताई, और इसका वेल इंटीग्रेशन और बहुत अच्छी इम्पोर्टेंस, बहुत ही पॉजिटिव टर्म्स पे आपने जो हमें बताया, इसके लिए हम आपका दिल से आभार करते हैं। बहुत बहुत हम आपका शुक्रगुजार हैं कि आपने समय निकाला और आप जुड़े इस कार्यक्रम में हमारे साथ। Now again we will be looking forward to a very respectable speaker हमारे बीच में, जो आज इस कार्यक्रम की अध्यक्षता कर रही हैं हमारी ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर प्रोफेसर सुदेश शिकारा मैम। हम बिफोर आई इनवाइट हर हियर, I think the voice is going. Before I invite her to address and to give her blessings to all of us, let me introduce and take this proud opportunity of introducing her with all of you. Madam Professor Sudesh Shikara is presently the Vice Chancellor at Bhagat Phool Singh Mahila Vishwavidyalaya. She has more than 31 years of teaching experience, which is a blend of academic, administrative and research, which she has taken over in the last more than 3 decades. And she is a professor in the University School of Management, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra. And she was also the director of the Women's Studies Research Center at Kurukshetra University and the director of Human Resource Development Center. And she has been awarded with the prestigious Commonwealth Fellowship in the year 2002 to 2003, and where she has visited the United Kingdom. And she has published many defining research papers in the area of banking, financial services, and the management. She has her international exposure by the way of visiting the universities of United Kingdoms like Oxford University, Cambridge University, Warwick University, London School of Economics, and University of Sydney in Australia. She is actively involved in the UGC program in the capacity building for women managers in the higher education as a trainee, trainer, coordinator of SAM and the TOT workshop. She has contributed tremendously as a director of the Women's Study Research Center at Kurukshetra University, and she has organized many programs, not only for the teachers, for the women women leaders, but also she has organized many programs for the women, rural women, and which were a kind of a pilot study or kind of a innovative program that she has launched as a dynamic director of that center. She is on the privileged editorial board members of the various research journals and the member of the various statutory bodies of universities like Executive Council, Academic Council, and the finance committees in the various universities. And she has also initiated the revision and the upgradation of the MBA program as per the requirement of the industry. We have been talking about this in the NEP 2020, and I think as the visionary academician, she has already looked before that what is desirable in the field of the professional courses like MBA, and that is why she has already taken up that initiative by integrating the theory part with the practical parts and included the industry people in when she was a chairperson of the department. She has been associated with the implementation of the choice-based credit system in the university, and she has organized many international and the national seminars. And a very relevant theme, I think, where we all look forward as the women is the relevance of the Gita in the modern day management, and the national seminar on de-risking the Indian agriculture crop insurance way, which was supported by the NABARD. I think these are the very well appreciated seminars which she has convened, and under her leadership, these programs were very successfully executed. She is a member of the expert committee of UGC and AICT for the assessment and accreditation and administration of the grant and aid for the educational institutions. And she is also the member of the Commonwealth Scholars and Fellow, New Delhi. And she has only, it's a very short while that she has joined us as a vice chancellor in our university, but in this very short span of time, she has taken up a lot of pending issues, I think, which were pending for more than 6-7 years or maybe more than that in our university. And she has taken up very well. She has already conducted a lot of caste promotions, which were pending from last 7 to 8 years in our university. And then a long awaited thing that we all were looking forward was the accreditation of the NAC. And she has successfully increased the grant to be received in the university, and a lot of other things she has taken up with the government as well as in the university itself, which shows the dynamism which is present in the women, and her versatility in doing the things. And I hope and we wish that our university will grow leaps and bounds under her able leadership and the able administratorship of hers. Ma'am, it's a privilege for all of us to have you here in this inaugural program. And I would also like to share that she has taken a lead in organizing the staff training program for the non-teaching staff of our university, which was the first organized after the 12 years of the inception of the HRDC. It was only her vision that they should also be included in the training program, and she took the extra efforts to organize that program. So many more milestones are there which she has already thought in her things in which she want to accomplish for this university. And we are really fortunate, ma'am, to have you here and to also have you as our vice chancellor. So we invite you for your words of blessings here, ma'am.
Thank you, Shefali, for such an elaborate introduction. Most respected Professor Ansur Rahman, Director of the HRDC, Jamia Millia University, and the chief guest of this today's program. Dr. Shefali Nagpal, Director HRDC, Bhagat Phool Singh Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, and the co-coordinator of the course, Dr. Mahesh Sharma. Dear participants of this program, 1 week workshop on NEP with focus on understanding technologies of future and its integration into the education sector. See, it's always a pleasure to be a part of any program of HRDC, because, you know, we all end up learning something new from these kinds of programs. I, as a Vice Chancellor, also get a new insight. So I always consider it as a great opportunity to be a part of any training program which the HRDC is organizing, be it on NEP, be it on for teachers, for non-teaching, anything. Because I think these centers, we call them HRDC centers, they are the ones who set tone for training the people in a particular organization. So on personal front, it is always a pleasure to be a part of these opportunities. And when I look at these kinds of programs being organized, they always are, first they're a part of the mandatory requirement. The government wants us to conduct these. This is one component of it. It would have been very, very nice if these could have been done actually, not virtually. That could have added more value. So what I understand from the program that has been designed here is that in this week's training, your focus would be on understanding the new technologies that are coming into the education sector, which is an integral part of NEP, adopting technology, flipped classrooms, blending, a pedagogical shift from walk and this chalk and talk to making use of advanced technologies, which basically enhance and increasing the efficiency of teaching learning. Because we have limited resources in terms of the quality teachers at certain point of time. Basically, when I look at blending technology into higher education systems, it has been an initiative of IITs. In India, 15 years back, a lot of institutions came in, technology institutions, when we were trying to catch up with the demand and supply gap of the technical graduates. But ultimately, these technical institutions did not have quality teachers. So as an experiment, our IITs, they started creating certain kinds of resources which could be used by the people throughout the country. And it was a good experience as far as, access to quality material was there. But it has got its own challenges when I look at it. A lot of has been said by in the inaugural address by Professor Rahman regarding inevitability of technology adoption by the higher education institutions. But I find there are a lot of challenges also which we cannot overlook. Infrastructure is one, and the pace at which the technologies are changing. Disruptive innovations. The higher education institutions are trying to learn one technology. By the time they learn that become obsolete and they have to move on to the other one. So this is one challenge which is there. Then another which I find is that at certain point of time, ये लोगों तक पहुंचने में तो मदद करती हैं technologies. But what the real evidence shows is that at certain point of time, it creates digital divide. A lot of people still do not have the basic infrastructure, even the gadgets they do not have. So ऐसा भी लगता है कि आने वाले समय में जिन लोगों के पास ये गैजेट्स नहीं होंगे, स्मार्टफोन्स नहीं होंगे, टैबलेट्स नहीं होंगे, या आपके जो है लैपटॉप्स नहीं होंगे, they will be left out in this process of learning. So as higher education institutions, we have to be sensitive towards this component also. कि जब हम बात करते हैं inclusivity की, अच्छे कंटेंट की थ्रू टेक्नोलॉजी, तो उस दौड़ में ऐसा ना हो जाए कि कुछ लोग हमारे जो है बिल्कुल पीछे छूट जाएं. I was going through a study which shows that जो ये डिजिटलाइजेशन की वजह से जो कुछ महिलाएं हैं, particularly the women, they have been left out because जो ओनरशिप होती है इलेक्ट्रिक गैजेट्स की भी अपने सोसाइटी में, तो फर्स्ट the men in the family would have a laptop or a smartphone, the daughters would get it at the last. So this is also one thing that we need to ensure that कि जो है टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से जो है डिजिटल डिवाइड बढ़ ना जाए, इस पे भी हमें ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. और मुझे एक और चीज लगती है कि there is so much of information on the digital platforms. As teachers, we'll have to be proactive कि वो जो मौलिक चिंतन होता है या नॉलेज होती है, अभी महेश जी बात कर रहे थे, वो मुझे भी कभी कभी कंसर्न लगता है कि इस डिजिटलाइजेशन के दौर में इसको अडॉप्ट करें, पर जो है उसको कहीं मौलिक चिंतन हमारा या नॉलेज जो है उस पे जो बैलेंस करने की बहुत अत्यधिक जरूरत रहती है. As a teachers, we have to communicate it to our students. We have to tell them that these are the right resources. तो ये भी बिल्कुल सत्य है कि इसके बिना भी आने वाला समय नहीं पॉसिबल होगा. When we are talking about global learning platforms, nobody, the higher education institutions have to be judiciously adopting these kinds of technology. A proper blend has to be there. जो किताबों से लर्न करना है उसको डिजिटल फॉर्म में कैसे कन्वर्ट करना है, इन सब चीज़ों का ध्यान रखते हुए ही हमें जो है इंटीग्रेट करना है नई टेक्नोलॉजीज को. और इसमें बहुत जो है विवेक का प्रयोग भी करना है अपने स्टूडेंट्स को. वी कैन नॉट लेट देम बी ऑन देयर ओन. और जो अध्यापक इसमें जिनके पास नॉलेज होगी उनको एक प्लेटफॉर्म होगा ये अपने जो है विजडम का, अपनी नॉलेज का ज्यादातर लोगों तक पहुंचाने का. तो इट इज अ फेज विच इज वेरी crucial. The people, particularly in the higher education institutions, they have to apprise themselves about the latest technologies. But at the same time, they have to have that कि किस extent तक technology को use करना है. That balance is to be taught to the students as well as the teachers have to learn it on their own. Then only we'll be able to get maximum benefit out of use of these technologies. Another thing that I observe as a practitioner is that कि इसको ground realities पे लेके आना है. As Dr. Shefali has informed the House that more than 25 workshops have been held on national education policy by our own HRDC. And you can imagine all collectively सब HRDCs ने मिलके और जितने भी हमारे एजुकेशन के प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं, इंडिविजुअल्स हैं, इस पर बात तो बहुत हो गई है, बट उसको कार्यान्वित करने का समय अब आ गया है. So, and what I feel is that there is a observation कि जो हमारे टीचर्स हैं जब इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे हम उनसे चर्चा करते हैं, there is a doubt in their minds as to how it will be implemented. जब तक टीचर्स का सेल्फ बिलीफ नहीं होगा कि ये जो नई एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है इसको कार्यान्वित करना उसकी जिम्मेदारी है, तब तक ये सफल प्रयास नहीं होगा. और इसके लिए मैं आह्वान करना चाहूंगी अपने सभी टीचर से जो इस ग्रुप में हैं कि उनको कोई डाउट्स हैं, there are certain doubts, they must be discussed. And if we are able to do that, I think the implementation of the national education policy by making use of this technologies can be done in a very appropriate manner. हमारा जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है उसमें इतनी डाइवर्सिटी है among the institutions, their quality. Professor Rahman comes from an A++ rated university which is situated in a metropolitan city. Third generation learners are there. So हमें अपनी इंस्टीट्यूशन की यूनिकनेस को भी पहचानना है और इन नई चीजों को अडॉप्ट भी करना है, उसके लिए चर्चा भी करनी है. और with that I think then we can do it very effectively. So not taking much of your time, would like to thank Professor Rahman for being the chief guest of this inaugural session. Would like to appreciate the efforts of the Director HRDC and Dr. Mahesh and the entire team for taking initiative for conducting these kinds of programs. I'm sure with your expertise, जो ये 24-25 participants इस कार्यक्रम में आए हैं, they'll be more wiser, they'll be more learned, and they'll adopt new technologies and take it to their classrooms in times to come in. So with these words, I thank the center for being making me a part of this exercise, and I wish all the participants a lot of learning. So it's a small group. आप जो भी इस वर्कशॉप में सीख के जाएं उसको अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन में कार्यान्वित करें जरूर। और जो भी आपका मंच होता है, मैंने ये देखा है, आप यू गिव इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी टू द पार्टिसिपेंट्स टू शेयर देयर माइंड, एंड दैट्स हाउ द न्यू एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस ग्रो. So with these words, I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. As you have said that the HRDCs have great powers, और ये पावर सारी की सारी हम इन पार्टिसिपेंट्स की ही समझते हैं, जो कि सभी टीचर्स हैं अपने अपने में. और बिकॉज आप भी इसको एज अ डायरेक्टर आप देख चुकी हैं, आप संभाल चुकी हैं इस सेंटर को, तो हम ये कहते हैं कि यहाँ पर आए हर टीचर को हम ये मानकर चलते हैं कि वो अपने आप में एक आर्मी है, क्योंकि इनके पीछे कम से कम 60 से 180 बच्चे तो हर टीचर के पीछे हर सेमेस्टर में खड़े हैं, हर साल खड़े हैं, और नए ऐड होते जाते हैं. तो वो जो यहाँ सीख कर जाते हैं उसकी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में बहुत बड़ा रोल होता है. ग्रुप छोटा हो या बड़ा हो, इररिस्पेक्टिव, नंबर मल्टीप्लाइज ट्रिमेंडसली. ये ज्योमेट्रिक प्रोग्रेशन में बढ़ता है ये. So we are indeed very thankful for your wise words, because टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल हम अंधी तरीके से कर रहे हैं आज की डेट में, इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है. आपने बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट आउट किया कि हम सबको ये भी सीखना है और फिर सिखाना भी है कि हमें टेक्नोलॉजी का बेहतरीन इस्तेमाल किस तरह से करना है, स्मार्ट इस्तेमाल हमें किस तरह से करना है. वी डू नॉट हैव टू गेट डोमिनेटेड बाय द टेक्नोलॉजी, बट वी हैव टू डोमिनेट द टेक्नोलॉजी. एंड विद दिस स्पिरिट वी विल ट्राई टू deliver this workshop to all the participants here, ma'am. We are indeed very thankful to you for this. Now for the formal vote of thanks, may I invite Dr. Mahesh Sharma ji.
कृत्स्नो हि लोके बुद्धिमताम् आचार्य शत्रुश्च बुद्धिमताम्. बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति के लिए सारा संसार ही गुरु के समान है, और मूर्ख व्यक्ति के लिए बुद्धिमान से बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति भी मूर्ख के समान हो जाता है. तो सभी को सादर प्रणाम. आज के इस एक साप्ताहिक राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति की जो कार्यशाला का आयोजन आगाज किया गया है, उस उद्घाटन सत्र में इस प्रकार से हमें आज हमारे बीच मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में प्रोफेसर अनीसुर रहमान जी प्राप्त हुए हैं. मैं मानव संसाधन विकास केंद्र भगत फूल सिंह महिला विश्वविद्यालय की तरफ से आपका हाथ जोड़कर धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूं कि जब भी हमें आपके उद्बोधन की आवश्यकता होती है, आपके मार्ग निर्देशन की आवश्यकता होती है, आप बहुत ही सहज और सरल के साथ हमारे साथ उपस्थित रहते हैं. एवं जिस विषय को आपने हमारे साथियों के साथ साझा किया कि किस प्रकार से जो प्रौद्योगिकी के है उसका शिक्षा में समायोजन करना अनिवार्य हो गया, क्योंकि सीमित संसाधनों के साथ जिस प्रकार से हमको हमारा जो स्कोप है, हमारी रीच है, उसको बढ़ाना है, उसके लिए सहायक तत्वों को अपने साथ मुख्य धारा में लाना अनिवार्य हो गया है. तो इस प्रकार के उद्देश्य के साथ इस कार्यशाला का आयोजन किया गया, और हम सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि ऐसे उद्घाटन सत्र में आपका में उद्बोधन प्राप्त हुआ. बहुत बहुत आभार एवं धन्यवाद. कार्यक्रम की श्रृंखला में हमारी संरक्षक महोदया, हमारी कुलपति महोदया प्रोफेसर सुदेश जी, प्रबंधन के क्षेत्र में एक शिक्षक से एक प्रबंधक के रूप में आपने जिस प्रकार से अपना प्रदर्शन किया इस विश्वविद्यालय में, और इससे पहले भी सामाजिक दृष्टि से अपने आप को जिस प्रकार से जोड़ा है, अपनी शैक्षणिक गतिविधियों को समाज के कल्याण में आपने लगाया है, और उसका छोटा सा प्रदर्शन हम विश्वविद्यालय के छोटे से समय में जिस विकास की गति को आपने जो ऊर्जा प्रदान की है उसमें देख पा रहे हैं. साथ ही साथ आपने जिस संजीदगी, जिस संवेदनशीलता के साथ जिन विषयों को उठाया है कि ज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी कभी भी ज्ञान को बदल नहीं सकती, उसकी सहायक हो सकती है. तो हमें ज्ञान के साथ टेक्नोलॉजी को, सूचना प्रौद्योगिकी को सहायिका के रूप में लेके
I think Dr. Mahesh Sharma ji has also disconnected because there is an electricity cut in the entire university, and he might have got disconnected because of that. आज हर
He
जगह
has
पे
come back.
electricity cut हो रहे हैं sir. जी.
It happened
He has
here.
also. Yes. We are talking about technology. और अभी हम इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के कट से तो वैसे ऊपर नहीं उठे.
माफी चाहूंगा, जिस बात पे अभी संज्ञान लाया जा रहा था कि प्रौद्योगिकी की सहायिका हो सकती है, और उसी का छोटा सा उदाहरण अभी हमने इसके बीच में व्यवधान जो उपस्थित हुआ वो देखा कि किस प्रकार से इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रॉपर तरीके से हमारे पास नहीं होने की वजह से, तो इस प्रकार की चीजों को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमें बचना होगा, और साथ ही साथ अपने स्वरूप को, जो भारत का गौरव है, जिस गौरवता के साथ, जिस श्रेष्ठता के साथ हमारा इतिहास हमें बताता है कि शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में भारत का जो योगदान था किस प्रकार से रहा है, हमारे शैक्षणिक संस्थान किस प्रकार से विश्व में प्रथम स्थान प्राप्त करते रहे हैं, तो उसी प्रकार के गौरव को पुनः प्राप्त करने के लिए ऐसा प्रयास किया गया है। और मैं आभारी हूं कि हमारे बीच इस प्रकार के संवेदनशील हमारे प्रबंधक, हमारे सहायक, हमारे संरक्षक उपस्थित हैं। इस कार्यक्रम की रूपरेखा को सजने वाली मानव संसाधन विकास केंद्र की निदेशिका महोदया डॉक्टर शेफाली नागपाल जी, आपकी जो संजीदगी और संवेदनशीलता है इस प्रकार के विषयों को लेकर के, कि आप राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर इस प्रकार के कार्यक्रम को पिछले 2 वर्षों से 3 वर्षों से आयोजित करते जा रहे हैं, और समाज में जिस प्रेरणा को अपने शिक्षक साथियों के बीच इस संजीदगी, जिस संवेदनशीलता और इस राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति को उनके आत्मसात करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं, वह सदैव सराहनीय रहा है। आपके इस प्रयास को भी सादर प्रणाम, एवं इस कार्यक्रम में सभी प्रतिभागियों का मेरे साथी के समान आपका स्वागत है, और ये अपेक्षा रहेगी और ये विश्वास रहेगा कि मानव संसाधन विकास केंद्र आप सभी के साथ आपके अपेक्षाओं को पूर्ण करने का प्रयास करेगा। साथ ही साथ मानव संसाधन विकास केंद्र आपके अंदर राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति के प्रति जो संजीदगी है उसको जागृत करने में अगर सफल रहेगा तो ये हमारा ध्येय संकल्प माना जाएगा। औपचारिक दृष्टि से सभी को यहाँ पर धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करते हुए, जिनका नाम नहीं ले पाए, जो इस कार्यक्रम में जो टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, जो टेक्निकल सपोर्ट हमें प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, जो एचआरडीसी की ऑफिस सपोर्ट है, उन सभी का भी यहाँ पर सहृदय आभार कि आपके सहयोग के बिना इस प्रकार के कार्यक्रम की स्वरूप या रूपरेखा नहीं रखी जा सकती। तो सभी का आभार व्यक्त करते हुए एवं आपसे पुनः सहयोग की अपेक्षा करते हुए सादर नमस्कार। माइक इज ओवर टू यू डॉक्टर शेफाली मैम।
आपका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, मानव संसाधन विकास केंद्र से जुड़े रहने के लिए, और हमें हो उसमें भी हमेशा हमारे साथ कनेक्टेड रहते हैं, हमारे साथ जुड़े रहते हैं, और आपका रुझान और एक अपनापन है इस सेंटर, उसके लिए भी हम आपका तहे दिल से आभार व्यक्त करते हैं कार्यक्रम के लिए। Again, we would like to thank our honorable vice president, our respected guest, Professor Anisul ji, and all the participants for joining with us. We, on the behalf of Dr. Mahesh Sharma and I, on the behalf of the HRDC, are really thankful to each and every one of you, and hope to have a continued association with you, sir, for many more things here, for all the academic collaborations we have.
Thank you so much indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For,
Thank you
for
very much.
provided this wonderful chance to become the part of this great event.
The pleasure is all ours, sir. All
Yeah.
ours.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So can we now leave
Yeah.
it out?
जी sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Because I have some class of research methodology.
जी.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a
Thank
lot. And all the participants, here we will take a short break of 10 minutes, and at 12 we will reconnect, maybe 2-3 minutes. Don't leave the call, but stay connected and be available for the next session.